There's also a lot of chaos in regards to having to make quick decisions, multiple offers in many cases. Well, hello. Shane Parent here, REMAX River City's Platinum team.
And Allison McDougall, REMAX River City's Platinum team.
Hope you are well. We're going to give you a bit of an update on what happened in April, right? And so this year has been interesting in the real estate industry. We've had a lot of activity, and there's good energy going on as far as pricing and the amount of sales. There's also a lot of chaos in regards to having to make quick decisions, multiple offers in many cases. Buyers, I think, leaping before they look, maybe, let's say. There's a bit of buyer's remorse. And, one of the things that I talk to agents about on a regular basis is don't be too upset if you're not the first place agent in a backup offer or in a multiple offer. Don't be afraid to be a backup position. A lot of first place position offers are not coming together, and they're either getting cold feet or maybe they didn't have their financing and all their ducks in a row, right? And so, but why don't you give us some numbers and let us know what's going on in the streets, in the mean streets there, Allison?
Well, as you can tell by the bags under my eyes, the streets are mean. No, it's really, it's pretty great out there. I would say it feels like it's tampered down a little bit compared to, say, March, where it was quite chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's, the number of units is still increasing in terms of sales. Last month was a record breaker, and over year, like if you think back a year ago, this is when we really hit the slump. So kind of mid-March was when the lockdown happened, and April was kind of the first full month that we saw that impact of the lockdowns and the uncertainty around COVID.
So if you're doing year over year, like month to month, they're pretty dramatic. And that might be
76% increase.
Okay.
So
that's not trending, right? Like that's going to be a little bit more reasonable. Like it's not out of control chaos. But year over year, what a difference, right? When nothing happened last year.
Right. And this is actually a good point too, is when people are looking at statistics, there's a lot more going on than just the numbers, right? They tell a bit of a story, but it's interpreting them and knowing what else was going on that kind of gives you some context.
Absolutely.
So unit sales, like number of sales are up. In terms of condos, I'm kind of dance around a little bit here, but days on market is still lower than it's been in like 5 years. Prices in terms of condos is kind of smack dab in the middle of the last 5 years. It's a little bit better than it was, but we're still not seeing record prices in terms of condo sales.
Right.
And speaking from experience, there's lots of inventory, and it's, can still get a good bargain out there on condos.
Yeah, we have a great little condo there in Oliver, right?
Yeah, we have a little 2-story that I think is priced really well. It's really beautifully redone. It's a 2-story, which is rare. New bathroom. It's got a little balcony or a deck area patio that's kind of unique instead of like apartment living.
Yeah.
And
pet-friendly building. And
pet-friendly, like it's great walking distance to the brewery district. And, it's not sold yet. And I'm going, what is going on? Because it's priced great.
Okay, cool.
So in terms of single family, we are still hitting records in terms of prices over the last 5 years. So that is still trending upward. Great. So the average price for single family right now is $470,000.
Okay, and so the average then for all types, including condos and duplexes, townhouses, is at what, 389, I think, right?
That's right. Yeah. Great. That was for all properties.
Right. Perfect.
And what else can I tell you about the numbers? What are you seeing in terms of multiples? Are they up, down compared to like March over April, Shane?
So compared to March is pretty ridiculous, right? Like we had the lowest inventory, and that's starting to pick up, which is
Right.
nice and common seasonality wise. And we usually have the most amount of listings come July, August, right? That are on market, and the most amount of sales. So it's getting more in line with seasonal activity, where we had that burst up in March,
Right.
which was kind of great to see. And there's discussions on interest rates. Some lenders have made some adjustments already, and we've seen that pressure. So I think that it'll balance out a little bit more, which is nice to see. But we'll have good seasonal activity, I think, right through the summer months, and hopefully some normalization, if you will.
Yeah, a little balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, inventory levels right now, we have around 5,400 listings,
Okay.
which isn't too bad, but obviously the single family market's still pretty hot. A lot of that is condos still.
Cool.
And then I think June 1st, another thing people are probably aware of is that there's that new mortgage rule coming into play for conventional mortgages. So if you were thinking of buying or selling, or at least buying, you might want to get your pre-approval locked in and a few other things dialed in before that June 1st.
Yeah, and maybe we don't talk about that enough too. It's just get a pre-approval, get a rate hold, because if interest rates go up, you're safe and you've got the best rate possible for yourself. And if they go down, well, you just get the new rate. So it really costs you nothing to get a rate hold in place. It's a conversation with a mortgage lender of your choice.
Totally. And oftentimes if there's some extra financial stuff that needs to be handled perhaps, or you're not sure if there is, that conversation can eliminate a lot of extra stress down the line.
Yep. Cool. And then so good stuff there. Let's share some high lows.
So condos, you could get in to a 2-bedroom condo. It was in Baldwin for 38 grand.
Boom.
Which is pretty awesome. Alternatively, if you wanted to spend 800 grand, you could have bought this stunning high rise in Oliver.
Okay.
It's
nice.
Pretty, like walls to ceiling, floor to ceiling windows, chandeliers, pretty lovely. Now in terms of housing, so there was a couple that were lower, but this was probably livable house. One sold in Alberta Ave for 150, and it still needed work.
Okay. But you could live there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great.
And then the stunner was a beautiful newer property built in 2005 on Valley View Drive, and that sold for just under 3 million.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Good to see. Those are always fun to see. So yeah, like we always say, real estate is neighborhood specific. If you're curious on how the market and all this craziness and unexpected fluctuation, how it's affected your home's value, reach out to us and we'll have a chat and give you the 411, as we say.
Yes. Have a happy May.
Ciao.